All right, what a fun trading week we had. If you missed any of it, go back on our YouTube channel. You can see a bunch of trades on there. Man, CL, ES, we even did some options earlier in the week. I mean, it was just so much fun. Took some NinjaTrader trades. We took a lot of TradingView trades. Here we are on the weekend. And what we like to do here is we like to look back on the week, Monday through Friday, and we like to look at how the Maverick indicators could have kept you on the right side of the track. So we do all sorts of different things. Some weekends we'll look at the opening range breakout strategy. We've done everything from, hey, what would happen if right off the open we take these buy and sell signals? How good would we have done in concert with what our Maverick indicators are showing us? So we've done all sorts of things. What I want to do today is I want to go over this amazing indicator that we just released 2 weeks ago, and we've gotten so much amazing feedback about it. I couldn't be more thrilled about it. It's the Maverick Zones. And the Maverick Zones is auto-drawing your support and resistance levels by probability. This is a big key thing, okay? So normally you're drawing your support and resistance levels in your zones, if you will, and you're drawing it like, here's a great example of it. Where would you draw, let me pull up my where would you draw a zone right here? You probably would draw it like there, I would think. Now, there's a lot of different ways to draw a zone, right? But this wick area is where there's obviously a resistance level up here. And the whole point of drawing a zone is it's a range, right? It's a range of resistance, okay? Now, as we look at, what is this? We're on Monday. So this is this past Monday. Most people would draw a zone here, but the Maverick Zones has a probability formula in the background to see where your highest probability zone is. And it's not saying it's right here. It's saying it's up here, which is slightly above where most people would draw their zone, but it's running a probability formula with all the data to say no, it's not right here. It might look like it's right here, but it's actually up here. So it's super cool where it draws your support and resistance zones. The second thing is as price gets up to it, and we're going to look at Monday through Friday and see how this would have helped us make money, as you get up to it, and we're in between two zones, it gives you this score. And we call these probability scores, and it's the probability of price holding or breaking. So let me clear that. So this is saying that you have a 74% chance of holding this level and a 79% chance of holding this level. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Anything greater than 90% is like a brick wall. An absolute, we do not trade into a greater than 90% chance of holding. Because that is like a brick wall, but anything less than 90% total game for breaking. Okay, so these are both 74%, but what can we gain right into the open of Monday? Well, we can understand that you're between two zones that have similar strength. And a lot of times price likes to move away from the greater zone, but this is only a 5% difference, and they're well below the 90% brick wall. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go at the open every single day, Monday through Friday, and let me explain through how our indicators would keep you on the right side of the tracks and how these zones are giving us just tremendous insight. Now, all our indicators work on NinjaTrader and TradingView except for the Maverick Zones, okay? So all our indicators that come in the Ultimate Edge bundle, which is coloring your candles to the data like a heat map, the Maverick Multi-X, which is like trading with 5 other traders, the Maverick Trender, the Maverick Signals, which are just crazy good, oh my God, I love them. But anyway, this video isn't about those. They all work. You get 10 indicators in that bundle for a one-time price. It's crazy. The value is off the charts. The only indicator that is not in that bundle and is sold separately, and it's only on TradingView, is the Maverick zones, which we're going over today. So just keep that in mind. But I know most of you guys trade on NinjaTrader and TradingView, and the majority of you guys probably use TradingView. So anyway, but all our indicators work on NinjaTrader and TradingView except for the Maverick zones. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to go Monday through Friday, and I want to go right off the open. We're on a 5-minute chart. For those in the Maverick family, just know we're using all default settings, and I'm using the, I believe I'm using the major zones. Hang on one second. Yeah, we're on major zones. So just so you guys know, we have minor zones built in. So if you're a scalper, we got major zones for, obviously this is a level to level game. We got cluster zones, we have consolidation zones, and we have retest zones. Retest zones are they're like premium zones. They've been retested over and over and over again. So if you're like a fan of doing pivots, it's really, really powerful. And it also has some other really cool bells and whistles in here, like previous day high, low, pre-market high, low, current day high, low, like all sorts of stuff. But anyway, let's focus on how these indicators could keep you on the right side of the tracks right off the rip, right off the open. We're on ES. We're on a 5-minute chart. Oh, by the way, I just want to point this out. So I just refreshed it. The Maverick radar is one of the indicators we won't even have on our charts. This indicator does not work on replay. This thing is a beast. If you are not familiar with the Maverick radar, which comes in the Ultimate Trading bundle, what it's doing is it's going through our entire checklist that we look for an A+ setup. And it'll serve up no setup, or it'll serve up a B setup, or it will serve up an A+ setup. A+ setup. Okay. So this thing is a game changer. It just does not work on replay below probably 2-minute chart, something like that. Why? Because TradingView will, they throttle replay mode data because they most likely, it's probably a good thing. They try and conserve. It's just my assumption. I'm assuming they want to conserve their server power because all your indicators work on their servers for live trading. So anyway, so once I hit play, this sucker's gonna disappear, but that's okay. But go back and watch it. This is one of the most powerful indicators I believe has ever been released. Like bar none. You'll never see it not on my chart. The only time you won't see it on my chart is if I'm in replay mode. Okay, cool. So let's look at Monday. So where are you at? Monday right here, 920. Let's hit it again. Strong zone right here. Strong zone. Did you see how whoa, that was crazy. Did you see how this drawing tool, does it do that to anybody else? It'll just do its own thing. This, you had like a 91% at one point while it was going through this candle. Okay. So already I'm looking at this and going like, that was a pretty strong flash of a zone. So a lot of people ask, and I say this every video, how do I stay out of chop? How do I stay out of chop? Do not get into gray candles. If you have the Maverick AI Pro, do not get into gray candles unless you're very advanced. Do not get into gray candles. Gray candles are just indecision candles most of the time. Okay, so here we go. So market opens, look at this, another gray candle, sideways action. Okay, another candle, gray candle, sideways action. How do I stay out of chop? Don't get into gray candles. You know how many people probably, this is 935, so you're going into 940. How many people just jumped into one of these because it was red or it was green? But you, come on, make a G. But you have the Maverick AI Pro. You know it's just an indecision candle and the market's still figuring out where it wants to go. Okay, so here we go. Let's see here. Another gray candle. Okay, finally a green candle. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, so this zone is now closed up. When price is too far from the zone, you won't get a score anymore because there's no reason to right now compute the score of this zone here when price is way down here, right? Like you're not there yet, okay? So in saying all that, let's look at our charts and let's see how this could keep us on the right side of the tracks. What do you have here? You have a bright green candle, which is your strongest upside data candle. You have only a 60% chance of holding. What did I tell you? Anything less than 90% is game for breaking, okay? Game for breaking. All 5 traders are voting bullish across 6 timeframes. Trader 5 is the only one holding out on the 15-minute chart, but these 5 traders all have a completely different style in their voting. They're pretty much all voting bullish on 6 timeframes, and your Maverick trenders pegged to the top. So I'm good. I'm good. So where do you think price is going to go? It's going to go most likely to the weaker zone. And the weaker zone is right here. You have bright green data. All 5 traders are voting bullish across 6 time frames, and your Maverick trenders pegged to the top. So do you think we'll push into this zone? Most likely. Let's see. Okay. First candle, second candle, you're pushing right up into this zone. Okay. Now you're going to get a little friction on this zone, right? Because it is a zone for a reason. And we just keep pushing up. Will we break the zone? It's under, we just broke the zone. Okay. So this is, and depending on your trading style, some of you guys are going to want to scalp right to the zone and then scalp a retracement right off the zone. Some of you guys might see a zone and see price coming up to it and go, oh, there's friction here, right? There's friction here. So I'm going to take a quick 8 ticks off the top of the zone and then continue up here. I mean, that's up to your trading style, whatever it is. But we had a good idea of where price was going and where it was going to get hung up because of the Maverick zones. Now, even when you retraced, this was a retracement candle, even when you retraced, or was it this one? Doesn't matter, they're all the same color. Even when you retraced, you had a bright green candle. Bright green is your strongest upside data candle. So even when it's retracing, you're looking at it going, you know what? We're probably going to continue to the upside because I have so much rich data to the upside, even if we're getting friction on the zone. Okay. And now you got a buy signal and you're just going to keep pumping up, right? Okay. Will you get all the way up to that zone? I don't know, but does it matter? Like this is beautiful, 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 beautiful. All 5 traders are voting bullish across 6 time frames. Maverick trenders pegged to the top. I really wish we'd have our Maverick radar on here, but it doesn't work in replay mode very well, especially on the 5-minute chart. But I guarantee you we have an A+ setup. Just looking at the chart, we have an A+ setup and beautiful buy signal. If you wanted to wait for this sucker and then take it up, go for it. Okay. So that's Monday. I want to show you how these zones can really give you clear vision along with your other Maverick indicators. Okay. So let's look at Tuesday. All right. So here's Tuesday. It's looking pretty bullish, right? All 5 traders are voting bullish across 6 time frames. You got a Maverick trenders pegged to the top. You have an uptrend label. You have green candles, but we don't have bright green candles, but we never take the first candle off market open. Everybody's piling in. Wall Street's bell rings, and we don't know exactly where price is going to go that first candle. So, hey, let's jump in here, okay? So here's our first candle. What do you got? Bright green candles. Okay? If you see bright green, it might just fly right off your screen. All 5 traders are continuing to be bullish across 6 time frames, and we got some weak scores here, folks. We got some weak scores. So do you think... which direction do you think we're going to go? Okay, just even if you don't have our indicators, if you're brand new to everything I just told you, and hopefully I've done a good job of explaining things. By the way, beautiful buy signal right here. Woo, beautiful buy signal. But here's your first zone. This is a level to level game. You got a weak zone here. Remember, anything less than 90% is game for breaking. You got another weak score above it. And you have a bright green candle, your strongest upside data candle. Which way do you think we're going to go? Let's take a look. Okay, so let's hit the play button. Okay, getting a little friction right there at the top. Got an up confidence arrow. Oh, you did touch the top. Look, you already broke through these zones. Look at this. We're going bar by bar, so we're only seeing it 5-minute chunks. But look, you already broke it here. You already broke into the next zone here. Yep, and then price is just continuing to the upside. Unbelievable. So cool. Okay. So depending on where you have your stops, you know, you could have been trailing it and gotten knocked out right here. But I mean, you took the trade way down here, so I don't know. I like to go at break even, and then once I want to think about getting out of the trade, I just close it. So got to give it room to breathe. But man, that was pretty clear vision right off the rip. Right off the rip, seeing these zone scores, knowing you have zones, and everybody else is, what are they doing? They got their little horizontal lines, and they're like, okay, well, I think there's a zone here, and okay, I think there's a zone here. They have no idea the strength of this zone. And quite frankly, remember what I showed you previously on Monday. I'm not sure actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if I showed you, but sorry if I'm repeating myself. But the zones are probability drawn, meaning that there's different places, and I don't know if I could find it, but like here, a lot of people would draw a zone here. Okay, when you're up here, right? That would make sense. This looks like a zone, but the formula might run and say, no, your highest probability zone is not here. Your highest probability zone is up here. So it's really, really cool. And then you get these scores as you get close to it to tell you the strength of these zones. It's just awesome. And then you put it together with all your indicators in your Maverick Ultimate Edge bundle, which is, like legit, like bright green. If you see bright green, it might just fly off your screen. This was a huge move. 67. Okay, this is a $10 move. There's 4 ticks to $1. That's 40 ticks. Whoops, 40 ticks. Man, I cannot draw with my mouse. Okay, so what's 40 ticks alone on just one contract of ES? Let me see here, 40 times 1250. Okay, that's a $500 move. Pretty good off the open for just a few, couple clicks of the mouse. So pretty cool stuff here. You trade 2 contracts, there's your G, right? Okay, or like we've been doing all week, we've been trade copying, and we're just looking to make like $200 an account, but we're trade copying across 5 accounts. So a $200 move is a $1,000 day. So go back and watch those videos if you're interested. Okay, let's look at Wednesday. All right, here's Wednesday. Market is about to open. This is why I love the Maverick radar. Look at this thing. We're about to open. You have hot pink candles. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. Now, anything can happen once the bell rings, right? That's why we just wait for the bell to ring. But look how it's going through your entire checklist of everything you're looking for to take a trade from our Maverick indicators. And it's alerting you, hey, buddy, you got an A+ setup to the downside. Hey, buddy, A+ setup. And I mean, this thing has been cooking all the way down here. All 5 traders are voting bearish across 6 time frames. You got a downtrend label here, and you are heading into a weak zone. But again, we need to see what the data is when the opening bell rings, right? Okay, so let's look at Wednesday. Let's remove this. And once I hit replay, this sucker is going to disappear because it doesn't work in replay. But man, go back and watch our videos. This is such a game changer in the live markets, handing you over A setups, no setups, and B setups. It's so cool. So cool. All right, cool. Let's jump in here. All right, so market opens. What do you got? Okay, gray candle. This is why we wait for the market to open. You got a gray candle. Okay, we don't get into gray candles. All right, another gray candle. We don't get in. Sorry, guys. Let me remove my drawings here. Another gray candle. We don't get into gray candles. Okay, another gray candle. How many people took this off the open? One, they got spanked because they thought it was just like a bearish market, and they're just like, oh, it's just going to keep going. And then they're like, oh, wait, hold on. And then how many folks just keep losing trade after trade after trade right here? Now, it's clear in hindsight, right? Because, to any trader, because you're like, well, it's clearly going sideways. But it's clear to you in the live market. Why? Because you have gray candles. You're not even touching it. This is edge, folks. This is edge. Okay. All right. So let me get rid of this because let's see here. All right. Finally, a green candle. Okay. So where do we think this is going? The data is now showing its hand. Okay. What do we got? We got a zone up here that we could target. All 5 traders are voting bullish across 6 time frames. Maverick trenders pegged to the top. Where do you think the next few candles are going to go? Let's see. Okay. Kind of stagnant for a second. We're still above the Maverick guide. Buy signal, love seeing that. We're starting to get a score here, 74% chance. Ooh, bright green candles. I like seeing this. Let the data catch up. And it continues to the upside, okay? Like how, oops, sorry. This has got to move. Look at this. Look how we took off. You stayed out of your gray candles. You got your first green candle. You showed a weak zone up here. And boom, you could have taken it to the house. You also had a buy signal. So you could have waited for a buy signal from the Maverick signals. I mean, this is, how cool is that? And by the way, the whole time, all 5 traders, seeing my arrow moved, all 5 traders are voting bullish across 6 time frames. Again, what if I put you in the room of 5 other traders that all have a completely different style and they're voting every single tick? This is edge, and how cool is it? How cool is it? By the way, again, here's another good example of, you probably would draw your zone right here, wouldn't you? I would think. But the Maverick zones is saying, no. Your highest probability zone is actually a little bit lower. It's not right there because it's looking at the data underneath the hood. So much fun. Like so much fun. All right, let's look at Thursday. All right, here's Thursday. You got a gray candle. We do not get into gray candles. You're in this zone here. You see this? You're in this zone, okay? All right, so we gotta see how the market shakes out. You do not have a score on your Maverick zone radar. Sorry, your Maverick radar. You have no grade going into market open. Okay, so all good. You kind of got a mixed bag here on the Maverick Multi-X, but we're not trading right now, right? We got to wait for market to open, shake out, and show its hand. Okay, but it's great to know where these zones are and the strength of them, putting that together with all your Maverick indicators, okay? So here we go. Let's go. Market opens. Where's it gonna? Okay, there you go. Weak zone. What do we have? A 58%? We had a 58 score on that zone. It just busted right through. Now you have a red candle. All 5 traders are voting bearish across 6 time frames, okay? Where do you think you're gonna go? Where do you think you're gonna go? Okay, you got a 61% chance of holding. Now, the reason why I point this out is because if this said 90 or higher, I would not take a short into here. 90, it's really 91% or higher, 91, is like a brick wall. And what happens, and we go over this in the Maverick Zones trading, even if you saw a 200-mile-an-hour sports car and it was just flying down the road, and if I said, hey, how far do you think that thing's going to go? You'd say, hey, as long as it doesn't run out of gas, it's going to go pretty far. I mean, it's going 200 miles an hour. But then what if I said, okay, great. And by the way, in about a quarter of a mile, there's a brick wall in the middle of the road. How far do you think that car's going to go, even if it's going 200 miles an hour? You're like, probably not further than another quarter of a mile because it's going to just slap into that brick wall. So you got to know where your brick walls are, right? Okay, so where do we think this is going to go? Probably to the downside. So let's see. Okay, next candle. Ooh, pink candle right to this zone. This is a zone-to-zone game. Okay, right through. You had a weak score here. You had a weak score here. And you had confidence that you could take this trade. Why? Because your next candle was a what? A hot pink candle. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. Pink is your strongest downside data candle. Okay, you can't look at the colors over here because this is 7 a.m. All right, I like to trade around that time, but I'm just saying, like, you can get chop. You can get sideways chop early in the morning, but we're talking about market open hours. And look at this thing just come flying down. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. You also got a sell signal, so you could wait for the sell signal, but you saw the zone and you had confidence trading into it because you had such weak scores. All 5 traders are voting bearish across 6 time frames. I mean, guys, and you had a downtrend label, and I absolutely guarantee that most likely you had an A+ setup to the downside on your Maverick radar right here. But again, the Maverick radar doesn't work on replay mode other than a 1-minute chart. So because it's just too powerful, it's asking too much of TradingView, and they don't want to give us that server power, which I do not blame them. I don't, I don't want anybody taking server power away from me when I'm trading live markets because they're in replay mode. You know what I mean? Because we're all on their servers and their cloud. So anyway, this is Edge. Like, are you getting this? I hope you're getting this by Thursday, okay? All right, let's look at Friday. Friday, traditionally, I say this every week, but we've been crushing it on Fridays. But go back and look at yesterday's trade. But Fridays, a lot of profitable traders just absolutely have skipped Fridays. But we're going to do it. We're going to jump into a Friday, and let's look at how the Maverick zones, along with your other Maverick indicators, could have potentially keeping you on the right side of the tracks. All right, here's Friday. You don't have a grade on your Maverick radar, but again, this will disappear once we get into it. But I just want you to see how cool this is. So cool. Just go back and watch our videos. You'll be blown away. So where are we at? Well, you're in between two zones, and it looks like you're bouncing off this zone. You got a gray. What do? We don't get into gray candles. We do not get into gray candles. You have a little bit of a mixed bag. It's kind of bearish, but you have a mixed bag. Looks like the traders are starting to change their mind on the 1-minute chart, but you're between these two zones. So we got to let market open and see what happens. Let market open, let that first candle shake out and show its hand, okay? All right, so this is 9. Oh, we still have 2 more candles, sorry. Let's see here, 9:25. Okay, so here's your first candle of market open. All right, gray candle. What are we gonna do? Nothing. We're not getting into gray candles. We do not get into gray candles, all right? Next candle, gray candle, went sideways. How weird is that? How many people got spanked on this candle? Because this was a green candle. This was a green candle, so they're like, oh, we're gonna fly to the moon. And then they just all got stopped out on the next candle. They all got stopped out on this next candle, okay? All right, another gray candle, okay? Another gray candle. How do I stay out of chop? Get the Maverick AI Pro, put it on your chart, and don't get into gray candles, okay? This is the first 15 minutes of market open. I mean, it's crazy. So here we go. Let's remove that so we can see what we're actually dealing with. Now, but here's what I do want to show you. All 5 traders are now bullish. That's interesting. They're all bullish. They've all flipped from being mostly bearish to bullish. They are solid bullish across 6 time frames. All 5 traders who have a completely different style. That's pretty powerful to know, right? You've lost your score here because you're too far from the zone. It's saying, hey, we don't even need to calculate right now because price is way up here. You're coming into a what? A weak zone. Anything less than 90% is game for breaking. So that's interesting. So we have a lot of bullish things going on here. So let me erase this and let's see where price is going to go. Oh, a buy signal. Love that. A buy signal, but we don't get into gray candles. Guys, let me show you something though. This is crazy good. This is crazy. Look at your next candle. Let me zoom in here. Look where it went. Went right to the next zone, went about a couple ticks past it, and you're right here. Okay? You knew this zone was here because the Maverick zones is auto drawing your support and resistance zones, all right? All right, so we got a buy signal. So I'm pretty bullish coming into here. Let's see. Oh, green candle. I'm getting in. Green candle. I'm getting in. Weak score, 55% chance of holding. Remember, anything under 90%, all 5 traders are still bullish. Oh, Maverick Trender's pegged to the top. And I would absolutely guarantee you that on your Maverick radar, you have an A+ setup. Okay? So where do you think price is going to go? Right through the zone. Right through the zone, continuing on. And it just keeps going. Okay? Now you're resting on this zone. Okay? So first, let me back up. Buy signal way down here. Actually, let me erase all my drawings so I can just get through to you guys here. So buy signal, boom. But we got a gray candle. We want to hold, and we know there's a zone right here. So we got to be cautious. bright green candle. Okay, now I have a buy signal. Now I got a bright green candle. I probably have an A plus setup on my Maverick radar down here. That's missing because we're in replay mode. But and then we had a weak score. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna blast right through this thing. And as long as you don't have news, you got to be careful about news. And all 5 traders are bullish across 6 time frames, and your Maverick trender is pegged to the top. When this line is pegged to the top, it's showing massive strength and momentum, and we give you this beautiful label right here. We call these flat tops. They can't go any further. This line can't go any further, so it's just pushed up against the ceiling. You can see it here. What did you do? You flushed down. You can see it here. What did you do? You pushed up, right into that zone. Okay, so and then you just, these are just crawlers, but that's okay. You were coming up, right? So this is edge. This is edge. So listen, if you want clear vision on your charts, if you want a little bit more X-ray vision on your charts and seeing the data underneath the hood and understanding all that, knowing where your highest probability zones are. By the way, I didn't even go through all the other zones. Okay, on the Maverick zones, we have, let's see here, settings. We have minor zones. We have major zones. These aren't just zones. There's a probability formula underneath each one of these. We have cluster zones. We have consolidation zones. We have retest zones, these premium zones. You can show as many zones as you want on your chart up until a certain amount that it's going to calculate. You can have, it's just, anyway, there's so many things with this. But guys, if you want clear vision on your charts, if you want edge in the market, okay, I can't rewrite history. As we're going back here on regular old ES, okay, on a 5-minute chart, which we trade every day, go back to our videos. I'm not trading anything different than what we look at day to day. This is giving you edge. So listen, if you want edge in the market, if you want clear vision on your charts, if you're not a member of the Maverick family, get the Ultimate Edge bundle. I'm telling you. And like I say, I say this over and over again, it's going to go up in price. We've been warning everybody for a while. And the Maverick Zones right now is 50% off. We just launched this thing 2 weeks ago. Okay. Well, we really launched it a week ago to everybody else, but 2 weeks ago, our members got early access. That's part of a cool thing about being a member of ours. You get early access. But guys, this Maverick Zones indicator is 50% off right now. We're limiting those spots, and once those spots fill up, it's going up to, I think $5.99 or something like that, but it's 50% off right now. Are you kidding me? Okay, so anyway, I'm not here to look, if this doesn't speak to you, do not buy our indicators. Please do not buy our indicators if this doesn't speak to you. But if you want clear vision on your charts, if you want edge in the market, we would love to help you crush it. We have 7-day-a-week support. I don't know any other company that has 7-day-a-week support. Okay, it's the weekend. We have some things we got to do with our house here. And like, I can't get in touch with anybody, like not even for an answer or to even make an appointment for next week. Like, I don't know anybody that's, got 7-day-a-week support. We have 7-day-a-week support. Okay. So come check us out. I'll put all the links in the description. I'll put, the Ultimate Edge link, the Ultimate Edge bundle link comes with 10 indicators. I challenge you to find a better, value than that. And then I'll also put the Maverick Zones link in the description so you can go check that out. But either way, like I always say, it's free to look. Come check us out, all right? Not financial advice. Do your own research. Never any guarantees in any market, of course, right? Come check us out. MaverickIndicators.com. That's MaverickIndicators.com.